once again, and I welcome you most sincerely to C-Suite Cafe, the platform where we bring senior business leaders and executives to share ideas on a wide range of issues. Today, we have as our guest an esteemed titan in the Nigerian public relations industry, a waymaker, a pioneer, a very creative egghead. His name, Akonte Ekine, Chief Executive Officer, AbsolutePR, and initiator of brand exchange. We will talk about all those in the course of the program, but Akonte, welcome to the cafe.
Thanks for having me.
We are not pretending to just be there. We want to be the only platform where Nigerian business executives talk to people, teach them, share ideas with them. And we know we are packed. We know you are packed with ideas, with passion to share. And that's why we brought you here today. Okay. Once again, you are welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get started, there's a way we ginger our swag into the mood of the day.
Okay.
As you can see, our glasses of coffee are ready to kick us into full gear. But some quick fire questions, preferably one-liners, but if you have a few explanations to give to them, it will be welcome. But they're supposed to be quick fire questions. And then, are you ready?
Yeah.
Private or public sector? Which one would you take?
Private sector.
Justification?
Well, you see more of excellence there and consciousness, satisfaction. It's there. You don't get anything out of public sector if you don't. You have to learn to play the politics to even offer service. But in private sector, it's about you get your value from giving out service.
Money or fame? Choose one.
Fame, if possible.
You don't like money?
Money will always come if you work hard enough for it and you are patient. And what is money? It's just a tool.
Family or career? Choose one.
Family.
You can't have a prosperous family without a flourishing career.
Well, if you have a career and you don't have a family, you are probably a failure.
Wow. You want to be famous locally or internationally?
As God permits, within the enclave that I find myself, it's more for me than whether local or international.
Formal education or apprenticeship? Choose one.
It's a mix. For me, education is education. Whether it's formal, informal, apprenticeship, it's a mix. I'm a beneficiary of both. I learned draftsmanship, carpentry. I was fortunate to also work within a tailoring environment. And I started my first job in advertising as an advertising apprentice in MCNA.
Wow, that was like a mixed bag of...
There was no employment opportunity, and they made me an offer that there is no IT space, but there is Mr. Victor Johnson back then, may he so rest in peace, said, okay, so you are very good. You've even beaten people with masters in the interview that they did there. And will you do something like apprentice if there is opening eventually? And Gabriel Abba said, I think it's better for him to take that apprentice instead of sitting at home. So I got my first letter of employment from MCNA as an advertising apprentice.
Wow. He started his job in the marketing communication industry as an advertising apprentice. Today, he is the Chief Executive Officer of a wave-making agency that has worked with a number of brands in the market today. Once again, welcome.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Welcome back, and this is the main segment. And
okay.
We believe that as a player in this industry, you should be able to tell both us in the studio and more importantly, our viewers and the industry at large, and your assessment of the Nigerian PR industry today. Before you answer that question, kindly kick yourself into gear by moving your coffee where they're supposed to be.
Nice.
So back to the question. Can you help us with your review of the Nigerian PR industry?
I think the first thing is to commend the managers, the regulators of the institute, of the profession. They are trying as much as possible to put things in proper perspective. And they recently concluded NIPR week in New York. From all I've read and seen about it, was a success. And PR itself is going through a major evolution, like almost everything about our existence. The fact that technology is taking a driving position in everything that we are doing is also affecting the PR practice. So we play more in the tech space now than any other space, to ensure that there is engagement appropriately and to ensure that there is the right messaging. The industry is evolving, and the body of practitioners or the institute managers, the regulators, the council of PR experts, the NIPR council itself, they are fashioning out new modalities to ensure that we are better positioned in the marketplace at local and international level. So I will say that the industry is open for further improvement, because the new body of the council just have a new session. The president just came back, so in the Uyo election, they returned the president of the council. So I think they have a new vision, or solidify the visions that he has been able to establish, the activities in trying to, including the PR can itself, which is where I belong as a consultant. The PR can is also evolving. The NIPR is taking proper position and ensuring that PR can has a better representation. So overall, I would say that the body itself is improving, and there's still more room for improvement, because we need more younger people in the system.
You see why I wanted a review from both PR can and NIPR perspective is the trend for all comers to come into the profession. And I'll give you an instance. December last year, I was in Abuja for the launch of my book, and I was looking for an MC, and a lady was referred to me. And she gave me a call card that had MC in this, that, then noticeably public relations. And in our interaction, I asked this lady, what makes her qualified to be a PR consultant? She hasn't done any PR anywhere. She read microbiology in the university. She hasn't even worked. Are there things being done even by the institute or the seniors in the profession to make sure that those who fly the PR flag are professionals or professionalized or even professionalizable, if I'm permitted to use that?
Okay, so recently there's a conversation going on about who is a journalist. And somebody said even a reputable columnist is not a journalist. And the reason they put forward basically is about certification. So in the same way, I would like to take that conversation and say, you can't be a doctor without a certificate in that profession. So an average person that says I'm a PR person should have gone through one basic training. And I think that the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations has a program for you to get a diploma to be qualified as a PR practitioner. And you can also study mass communication, which is also one of the things listed in the Act as the things you study to be able to get that certification. Mm-hmm. So if you see somebody, and PR is very broad. I can be a PR practitioner and all I do basically is doing clippings for somebody because that's what the person wants, or that's what I was trained to do. An MC claiming to be a practitioner must have gotten 1 or 2 training, because I'm not sure the person you are referring to just decided to brand herself a practitioner without certification. It is the standard acceptable practice globally.
I asked that question, and she didn't even show any understanding of what core. The elements of the basics of PR.
Okay, so don't let us peg it only on public relations. If you look at the medical practice and the legal profession, we've seen fake lawyers, we've seen fake doctors, we've seen fake soldiers. So we are over 200 million people, and there is no society you don't have the devils. So you will naturally have those people that will claim what they are not. But if you are looking for a practitioner, I'm sure there are processes to finding one, which is why even the Dr. Ikpe, the president, is trying to look for how to sanitize the industry, and they are doing something in that direction.
These people coming from everywhere, you just mentioned about the diverse nature of the job. Now, the challenge of digital, which you also mentioned, has almost shriveled the opportunities for the mainstream, for the core professionals to be getting the jobs. People sit down and say they are social media influencers, and all of us are increasingly going via social media. People say they are digital marketers, and then combine both advertising and PR and journalism functions. And this has increasingly made even clients to divert some of the jobs they give to, they otherwise would have given to PR companies, to small individuals operating in silos. Does this pose a major challenge to the profession?
One breath, yes. Another breath, no. The first thing you have to realize here is that public relations has always have something we call opinion formers and shapers. In an average conversation at multinational level and corporate settings and political circles, even in communities, you have opinion leaders, you have opinion shapers. Language evolved. So in the marketing space, the language that has evolved from just saying opinion leaders and molders is what we call influencers. That's the language that has evolved. So the influencer today is playing the same old role of that same community leader, opinion leader. I remember working on a close-up brand or Pepsodent brand. We brought together oral health practitioners as opinion leaders to speak to the community, and we use them as a content for the public. Now, today, instead of using just those people as the messaging platform, what we'll do is that we'll get people with larger crowd and take the same set of people to speak to them, and they will publicize their conversation. So nobody is endangered here. What is happening is that we all need to just move with the tide by way of saying our opinion leaders should now become influencers. So the general public should also understand the fact that who are you listening to, which is the big question. Who is influencing you? One of the other things that is actually happening with technology is that there is no more gatekeeper, which is one of the problems the society is facing. So somebody can come to the stage and say some dirty things and go scot-free, and which is why the government is trying very well to bring cyber law into place.
Yeah, because I was going to go to the social media and the challenge of information management.
Yeah.
The gates are open.
Yes.
There are no gatekeepers. Things
There are no
happen a
gates
lot-
again.
There are no gates again. Things move a lot faster. That when you could just wake up and in the next 2 hours, something that might destroy a whole company, a whole human being, would have exploded on the internet. And I think that it is increasingly diluting the relevance of PR professionals.
Okay, so I don't think so. It's not. It's actually making it more critical for anybody, any serious organization, to engage appropriately. Because see, if you have a case, if you have a legal issue, will you just walk into any law firm? You profile the law firm. to a certain degree. You won't say it's my brother that runs the law firm. If you have a medical condition, you won't just wake up and say, you'll say, no, let me get to maybe General Hospital or go to one expert, this thing. It's just that it's making engagement with the profession much more serious than it used to be. In those days, you can sit in your comfort zone and say, oh, I have an uncle somewhere or a brother somewhere. He carries a briefcase and he can produce a calendar. You give him the entire calendar job or diary job, and that makes him a PR professional. But today, if you are going to engage a PR professional, you are going to be looking for certain qualities. You are going to look for pedigree to some extent. You look for certain values, because you are putting, all you have as a business actually is a reputation. Reputation, that's what you have. And you can't afford to toy with it. You can't afford to play with your reputational capital. Because if we are in a very good environment, your reputational capital is bigger and better. In fact, it's actually what makes your financial status, your corporate existence, makes them better. If anything tarnishes your image in a way, it affects your stock market. It affects your perception. It affects your business. It's something like there is this, I don't want to use the phrase chain reaction, but it's a domino effect.
Yes.
Once you have a problem with your reputational capital, it's a domino effect to every other thing.
It affects
every other thing.
Your product brand,
your stakeholders, your presence,
your...
exactly, perception at the end of the day. But we're in a climb where we can still color things. We still make do with things. Otherwise, it shouldn't be.
2 or 3 guests, previous guests on this show, have given us rather very disturbing views about the challenges of the Nigerian brand. From IT to oil and gas to even marketing communication, the problem of the Nigerian brand, rather the not too complimentary brand position of this country affects things that come out of this place, from human beings, from individuals to products, from products to coal industries. What is the problem with the Nigerian brand? And I'm asking you professionally, I'm asking you this question even as a citizen.
You see, the Nigerian brand is a big brand, and there are too many angles to look at it. The Nigerian brand is just the two of us and the man you see on the streets. He has to, and then we need to even start from the Nigerian brand, internally or externally. Internally, the Nigerian brand is subject to the internal experience of the citizen. So the citizens are forming opinions based on their experience or experiences and based on government policies. So there's a generation of Nigerians or Nigerian citizens that will tell you that, oh, the Nigerian brand is good. And there will be those that will feel that the Nigerian brand is bad, and some will be neither here nor there. For instance, recently there is this issue of let's go and make a law that will mandate everybody to vote. That alone tells you a message about the Nigerian brand. That some people are feeling dissatisfied about that.
So there's a disconnection.
So I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
And for time's sake, let me just tell you this. It's a disjointed brand. And there is no unified messaging. There is the Nigerian Orientation Agency. I can't remember the last time I've seen a message or two from them. But I hear that they are doing so much to try and ensure that they are passing messages across. So the brand is big. The brand has issues. But the drivers of the Nigerian brand needs to look at the policies.
Before we even go to the drivers of Nigerian brand, what are those identifiable issues as a Nigerian and again as a professional? What are those issues?
Okay, the thing is
because we need to put the word out there so that the managers and those who have the solutions can come together.
I like to put things in context. Yeah. You see, we have a social pact with our country. And I'm a young man. I'm trying to do JAM. And I wrote JAM. And I was forced to realize that the JAM I wrote was affected by certain glitches. What that tells me as a young man is that the country is not together. I'm barely 16. So the country has given me a message. My first major encounter with the country is JAM as a student. And I've been disappointed. I don't know if you are getting the message. And so that contract, somebody defaulted, and it's the government. And he now said to me that if I'm not 16, I can't even enter university. In this modern age, where people are entering university at 12 in UK because of their skill set, because of their expertise. So, if you look at it, so at every point in time, the encounters we have with the state defines our understanding and acceptance of that. So the government or the managers must be deliberate in ensuring that that encounter is almost issue-free. That's when we can say, oh, the Nigerian brand, because the Nigerian brand will always have its challenges because of our people. But what I like to always end up with is the fact that there's a deliberate, conscious effort to deliver certain messages and people can experience them. Then we are likely to have uniform perception, because my side of Lagos will say, because we are in band A, I don't want to even go into all those things. But basically the issue is that the Nigerian brand has its challenges, and people must make deliberate effort to solve them dispassionately, because the connection is how we see the brand. If I connect to brand A and the brand A is giving me value, because it's all about value. If you get the same value as I get the same value, I will have the same respect for that brand. Because now, that's what brand is all about.
The main thing where this thing is very challenging is that people who work here to produce goods, a lot of the time you find out that in the global marketplace, things coming out of Nigeria compete a lot better. But because of the perceived status of the Nigerian brand, it brings problems of market penetration, problems of growth, problems of mass acceptance to those people. And I don't know whether our government is conscious of this, that beyond our internal disconnectedness, that the global market space is also speaking with their silence, protesting with their patronage against what we are bringing into the space.
Well, the government can do. Let me start with this. There was a story of the made in Taiwan at one point in this country. And growing up, I remember if anybody says this thing is made in Taiwan, nobody will buy it.
Even China.
Nobody will buy it. And I was privileged to be part of the LG brand when they were penetrating the Nigerian market. The first thing we did back then was to establish that the LG brand has great reputation outside Nigeria before people started buying into LG. So if we have the same situation, the big question is that, is the government talking to the manufacturers? Are they enabling the standard? I hear that Nigerians go to certain countries and recommend standards. So if Nigeria can create our own standard and say, this is the Nigerian standard, there is the American standard, there is the Standard Organization of Nigeria. I'm saying, they are not saying don't go and import, but if you are importing, these are the specs that must be, and it's happening in the cable industry. In today's cable industry in this country, I'm not sure anybody will go and import cable outside. It is more of all the things they manufacture here, because the risk is too high for anybody to go and bring cable from outside. So the government must be bold enough to say, look, this is our standard. And if you are going to bring anything that is below this standard, and I think NAFDAC is almost in that line in terms of what they are doing with drug and food.
Now, NAFDAC is doing it, But let's talk intentional nation marketing.
Okay.
I've followed the Make in India campaign for quite a period. I've written a lot about it. I am seeing tangible gains now that the China-US crisis is happening. Apple, for instance, is moving its manufacturing to India.
Yeah.
A lot of other manufacturing companies are moving their production to India because the Make in India campaign was activated to tell the world how prepared India was and still is in production. Come and make what you want to make in India. It doesn't matter to us whatever country takes ownership. Something is happening here. South Africa is advertising their tourism industry, mostly to Nigerians in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And it is working. What did the Branding Nigeria initiative and the Proudly Nigerian projects and the, what's that one by Lai Mohammed? Good People, Great Nation, and some of those, what tangible economic benefits did they achieve?
I read an article written by a mutual friend of ours, Razak Olagbe, about the 5 unicorns.
Unicorns, yes.
5 unicorns, and it's happening in Lagos. And it's, who does that? It's about 2-3 days ago I read the article. So who does that? 5 unicorn, Lagos has produced 5 unicorn brands and all those things. Those are individual efforts that generated that. If the country is conscious, because first and foremost, branding is a two-way traffic. And one of those traffic is that you must understand that your internal audience needs to be ready for your external audience. You can't talk to the external public to come to your country and meet something that is not there because they have expectation. It is not advertising that sells the nations. It is people, it is PR, it is policies that sells nations. It is not advertising. Advertising only ride on the strength of the character of public relations effort.
Yeah, to sell isolated products.
So if you are going to look at India, South Africa, look at the back end of what they've done. They've created the amenities. They've created the infrastructure. The 5 unicorns in Lagos is because they had the basic structure, the people, the manpower. We have manpower, but we don't have infrastructure, or we are trying to build infrastructure. Let me be very positive. We are trying to build infrastructure.
60 years.
Yes, for 60 years. And so if you are going to talk branding from my little knowledge of it, in the last 30-something years.
I don't think your knowledge is little,
see,
so let's
we miss the mark. We miss the mark. If people in government are deliberate, you don't need to advertise to the world to come to Nigeria. The world knows Wole Soyinka. They know Chinua Achebe. They know Ken Saro-Wiwa. Just mention any great things. We have BAT in electricity, BAT energy. We have the mathematicians. We have, in fact, the list is almost like GKOB and all those things. We have the names. Presently, presently, a Nigerian or 2 Nigerians are waxing very strong in the medical field. The one is even the son of Akonte Ekine.
Yes.
So there's so much information about Nigeria. There is a positive, there is a negative. But you agree with me, the negative is what travels very fast. So if the negative is traveling very fast, what do we do to curb it? We need to tell our own story. And how do you tell your story? The internal public, the boys and girls on the streets that are suffering, you need to address their issue. When you address their issue, there's a likelihood that that boy will have a little change. If he scores 212 like my daughter in JAM, he should have hope at 15 that I need to be able to enter university, because that is how I have been trained to
You're going into my next question, because I was going to ask you the solution. Yes, we understand that the challenge is alleviation. Now that we have already started, let's just be more deliberate. The solutions to solve a lot of these legion of perception challenges Nigeria faces.
So perception is your experience, it's your feeling, it's your encounter. So one solution is this: can we have a little bit of influence when we say this is what we will meet when we go to the market? We are meeting it. A good project is going on in Nigeria, which is the Nigerian Education Fund. This loan thing that is going on.
Nigerian Education Loan Fund.
Yeah. It's a good project. But do you know that that project has corruption issue now? Students that are entitled to collect money are unable to collect money. Schools are even telling them that you should come and pay to access the money that has been released. This is fresh and it's in the news. So until we decide, it's no longer about the nation, it's about the people. We have to tell the people to trust the nation. And how do you trust the nation? You must believe in the nation.
And the problem is that some of these crimes don't have consequences in this country.
Oh, if you go to the side of consequences, that's another subject in branding. Because there must be that believability that if I move like this, it's cause and effect. Does cause and effect work in this country? There's a case now. There's a case on the Senate president. A judgment has been passed. And that's brand Nigeria for you. Unfortunately, the appeal court has passed judgment, but nobody is effecting the judgment. And yesterday somebody said they will drag it to Supreme Court and the man will do his 4 years and leave the Senate. That's what we see, what we read is, so the intention of policy is for policy to be effective so that people, if you tell me I go to hospital, I will get treatment and I get treatment, then to change my perception. But if I don't get treatment, I have to go to private hospital, it still make the perception. If you have a country where the people that are ruling you don't go to the local hospital, what message are you telling them? They go to international hospitals. So every Nigerian is aspiring to go abroad. Every Nigerian. You still have to go to school or to have enough money to be able to take care of your medicals or to be able to do business. Anybody that you see staying around is probably staying around because
he can't afford to go
he
out.
can't afford to, or he's wired like some of us that there is something here. I believe that my money is here, my life is here.
Somehow, I know that some people actually believe that the Jackpot syndrome, as it is, people living in this country is actually foreign direct investment because of what comes in through remittances and all those things. That Nigeria is actually making money from the Jackpot syndrome. Is this correct?
Well, based on my experience on remittance, working on the MoneyGram brand, and the country makes money, yes, but families are having issues. And a society where the family is not strong together is a problematic society in the future. There are too many broken homes that are just on the way to happen. When you leave a man here, a woman there, a son here, a brother there, you see, there's nothing like family. The world itself needs family to be able to exist. So as beautiful as Jackpot syndrome seems in terms of remittances, it's a big picture we need to see. It affects family, and you build a society from family. Most of the problems we have in the society in terms of behavior is a result of disjointed family, dysfunctional family.
Now, the business side of it, are there things the government should do to even harness this thing rather than going on road shows that you can't properly define their purpose?
That is the solution to the branding.
To attract investment from these same Nigerians.
That is the solution to the branding. Create a level playing field. Create the environment. Michael Essien is not better than one Rashid at the end of Surulere. You understand? or the boy from Olusosun, it's not as if he's the best player that could happen in the world. But he got into a place and he saw environment. If you create that environment, if you create that infrastructure, honestly, the thing they are looking for outside, people shout premiership, premiership. It's a community football. Somebody just sat down and said, we have to enhance this thing. If you create that environment, we will get the same results. And it's something that can happen over a period of time. We shouldn't rush ourselves. The solution to brand Nigeria is that make resources available in the country. People won't go anywhere. What are you going to look for? It's bloody cold over there, for instance, from the places I've been to. You know, it's bloody cold. And
in fact, it's either too cold or too hot.
Culture itself is something else that you miss so much. But if you have this thing here, that enabling environment, the ball you play in Europe, you play here, the medical practice. What makes, okay, one doctor came up one day and said, look at the magic they did at Royal Dutch recently. He said, the only difference between the Nigerian doctor in Nigeria and the one outside is facility. If the equipment are there, the man will do the same magic he's doing in Europe, in Nigeria. The guys that are traveling for medical treatment outside is basically because they know that there is that facility there.
Yes.
And most of them, when they get there, they are Nigerians that will attend to them. So what is the missing link? Which is the solution? Let us together ensure that we create that environment.
The concept of globalization as a political and economic, what's that thing again? Is it paradigm? Is it whatever it is? Has been called to question by the America First policy of Donald Trump. The trade wars that followed the war between Ukraine and Russia, Europe here. Is globalization still
an ideal policy?
An ideal policy for anybody? Thank you very much.
I think it depends on, in branding there's something called life cycle. In the life cycle, you are either at the introduction stage, you are the mature stage, you are the declining stage, about 4 stages, and then you relaunch and all this thing. So in the life cycle of a nation, you need to define where you are.
Birth, growth, plateau, decline, death.
Yes. So you have to define where you are. If America can claim America first because of the president that is there, there must be a reason. And the reason is very obvious. My understanding is that they've seen that they've moved so much, even their so-called automobile, everything is outside. Manufacturing is not happening in America, and they need to drive things back. And it's affecting the employment rate. So somebody sat and said, from analysis, all these things that we used to do, we've passed it out. In the name of globalization. It's not feeding us, it's not helping us. We are becoming beggarly. Do we need it at our own time? Because again, in international diplomacy, there is the principle of reciprocation. If you give me, I give you. If you play with me, I play with you. So globalization is ideal at some point, but there's also something called localization. You have to locally conquer your territory. If we don't conquer ourselves by way of what we produce, manufacture, self-sufficient in agriculture and all those things, with all the land, green we have, we can't be talking about outside. What are we giving out? So it's a mixed thing. Yeah, the government is trying to do things in the area of agriculture, I agree. But at the end of the day, why do we need to import rice? Why can't we farm it? We have the story of the pyramid in those days. Why do we look for palm oil outside when at a point in time palm oil was primarily here? The Indonesians are coming to learn how to plant it.
They actually came to take their own here.
Yeah, they take seed.
And we import palm oil from there.
Yes. I worked on Okomu oil palm as a PR person. And Presco, between Okomu and Presco today, are the only 2 firms in Nigeria that are still surviving producing palm oil. And these are great brands from Nigeria. We can't even satisfy our market. So if they sit down, and I hope that they actually been sitting and be doing the right thing, and I'm not being political here. I'm just saying that we have so much that they can do, and I know that they know that we have some of these things. And I think it's the willingness, which is one of the things that is lacking in our politicians, with the willingness to face issues and address them dispassionately.
Wait, let's even talk about these politicians. Is it only the willingness or even lack of knowledge? I'm sorry.
You see, knowledge is robust and it's not, okay, between the two of us, I don't have to be a scientist to know that there are certain things scientists will do that will make things better. All I need is to look for the next 3 man on my phone that can reach a scientist. That is using knowledge. They are empowered when it comes to knowledge. It is the application of knowledge. They are empowered.
What I mean knowledge is not knowing that a scientist can fix something. It's knowing, is that higher knowledge that this is necessary to be done. That rather than pack all the government money into my pocket, I should at least let go of 50% of that thing that I'm going to stash into either a vote in my house or a foreign bank account for some form of a higher common goal. I don't think it is the fact that they are unwilling. I think it is the fact that they don't know.
No. Now, let me tell you, there is this part. It's not about knowledge. It's what they call enlightened self-interest. Enlightened self-interest is where you take yourself out of the scheme and see the big picture and see the benefit. Because the black man is a deprived man. With all due respect, I'm a black man. But mentally we are deprived. Emotionally we are deprived. So all we are always looking for is, how can I secure my future? Not knowing that the future itself is with us. So enlightened self-interest makes us to see beyond ourselves and see the big picture. If we see the big picture, you will want to make sure that the hospital is functioning because your generation or your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your auntie in the village will benefit from it. It's not you keeping the money. They have the knowledge. It is that willingness to imbibe that enlightened self-interest, that will make a man to realize that of what use is all these things. Why have 780 something houses? Why build 20 apartments when there are people on the streets that, the last time I checked, there are more vacant apartments in Abuja than you can imagine.
Yeah.
And people are not bothered because it's not money you work hard for. Because if you work hard for that money, you will give out those apartments at reasonable prices. People will take it.
You will build something that will be multiplying more money, a lot more organically. Yeah. 753 apartments for one person.
So, and it's not limited to him. That's the one that we have known, or we probably that is in the public space. But the most important thing is that our politicians need to rise above themselves and realize that it's not dropping crumbs that will save the nation.
Tokenism.
It's not dropping crumbs that will save the nation. What will save the nation is collectively realizing that every man is destined to go 6 feet down. And when you take 6 feet down, you don't know what will happen to the resources that you are leaving behind. Yeah. Because on the average, anybody that gets to those positions, my take is that they've seen it all in life, so to speak, to some extent. So they should paint a picture for them to see how best they would like to. It's not about building boreholes. It's not about, it's how do you touch a life to see that when you are not there, people can feel you.
Yes.
That's what they need to do.
Okay, let's come back to your company, AbsolutePR, okay, and brand exchange. Okay. Can you tell us what brand exchange is all about?
Okay, so first, AbsolutePR has been a company that has handled some good businesses with the likes of Unilever, EcoBank, MoneyGram, Total.
Sorry.
We did Total. We did a couple of work for Total. Spectranet in the telecom space. There is a Sugar Daddy brand. Let me mention the brand, Sugar Daddy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Sugar Daddy brand. I came in from outside, and it's doing well now. It's a dating site. It's very exciting. I do that for this exercise because
don't recommend me. Don't comment.
You know.
Just kidding, but go ahead.
So we've been privileged to handle some great brands and grow some brands in the environment, and so we sat down one day and we saw things based on experience. So, oh, there's a need for us not to just be waiters for communication, not for organizer marketing. You know, there's for organizer marketing. For organizer sit down and wait. So we said instead of
Your car must have to break down.
Yes. So we don't want to wait for clients. So we decided to create something like a rating service, which is what Brand Exchange is about. So in the last 3 years, we have generated conversations around brand rating, where people get to nominate brands and vote for brands, and then we reward them with badge of honors. It's a young project, but it's a big project in Switzerland, where on the average, every week, every month, brands are announced as voted for by consumers. You know, so that's what we are driving at, and that also enables consumer rights conversation, because we also realize that because of our environment, we have not sorted out the human rights issue. We now want to talk about consumer rights. You know, but every consumer, first and foremost, enjoys human rights. But inside the human rights, there's also the consumer right, which is just simple as self-respect, to be heard, and all those things. So we thought that looking at some of the work others have done, that we could take some learning and improve, which is why we are always calling on the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Agency to be part of us. We call on people like organizations like the Nigerian Communications Commission, the Standard Organization, and all of them to come around and be part of the project. It's just consumers trying to validate the reputations of brands in the marketplace. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. This question is important for us because of the prevalence of commercial allocation of awards and recognitions in the marketplace. Practically everybody can wake up and say, you have won this award as this, you have won this award as that. What differentiates what you're doing from this plethora of allocated, paid for awards that we have?
I try to run away from discussing this, because it will look like one is trying to be like the only pious man in the society. But
there's nothing wrong if you're pious and you say it yourself.
I'm not a pious man.
After all, that's what we are in this marketing communication.
I'm not a pious man in that direction, but it's very simple. What we are doing is all about voting. Interestingly, I also believe that what we are doing is also trying to encourage the Nigerian population to understand the dynamics and the importance of exercising their civil rights, by way of casting votes. So, our awards in the last 3 years has basically been about people voting on the platform. So if it's one person that casts votes for brand A, that's the brand that will win. It's not left for the owner of the thing to come and take it. So we are not going to, and we have never gone to anybody to say, oh, you won the award, please take. No. Our standard is that we published list of eligible brands that have been nominated for voting, which is going to happen very soon. And then we'll start the voting process. Once we publish that and people cast votes, the result is based on that. There is no addition, no subtraction. If it's fine that we get thousands, the last edition we had about 8,000 people doing that. And we were glad that that happened, because that was a growth of about 25% on our second edition. You know. So our position is that let's just do it by voting and leave it at that. Yeah, we need money. Let me quickly say that. We need money. That's why to attend the event, we ask you to pay for table. That's the only thing we do. And it's been self-sustaining. It's actually AbsolutePR funding it, saying, oh, we think that this will grow and it will eventually be useful to Nigerians to know. You know. And it's good for the brand because it's a feedback, good feedback. UAC wrote us and said they wanted to have their feedback on what happens to their gala when gala won last year. You know. And we have pockets of cases where people ask for back-end information on how people respond to their votes. That's just it.
Now, a few brands are responding. What is the future of this thing? What can you do to make sure that it becomes like other brand ratings in the world for Fortune 500, for 5,000. What other rating brand agencies in the world?
Nelson and all that publicize it and all those things.
Even Nelson, but Nelson does their own
privately and commercially.
Privately. So what are there ways you plan to enhance this to make sure it's not just okay, I've done an award, I've announced the award, to make sure that there are certain statistics which will benefit the brands in their marketing. We talk about consumer insights. Will brand exchange grow to the point where we have local consumer insights for brands in this market?
Okay, so there's an extension in that conversation that when you see the pattern of even votes, you will get to a point where we'll put age, your profile into it. So if you want to know where is this person voting from, because there are brands that are doing very well in the north that will not be doing well in the south.
Exactly.
So those parameters are showing. But because where we are, we need to earn a reputation for ourselves, first and foremost. And then the market, what you said about commercialization of awards is a major issue.
I know.
I've gotten calls. They say, look, just create one, give us, kind of thing. And I say, I need to be able to defend it among my people. But some people will say, oh, for the commercial interests, so we manage that process. But where we are going is this. We need to build a reputation. And I think during the last 3 years, a couple of people have agreed that we are doing something right. So we are on a journey to the fourth one. And if we get the fourth one right and the fifth one right, we do hope that people will also, more brands will accept us. You know, there's a big one we are thinking about, but we need to conquer this edition first. So it will grow to the extent where the regional brands will get their value, because we need to separate the men from the boys. We also need to bring into play what we call segmentation. And be very, very specific. Like if you know the Augustus rating is focusing only in the banking sector. So we are creating one for not necessarily the banking sector, but it's going to be running across all the categories. To the extent that at the end of the day, even the brand owners will be compelled to take action. That's just it. But it's a long journey, and we want
prepared for the long haul.
We want to grow organically, because we've also seen opportunity to quickly buy growth and be there. You know, we want to grow organically.
Okay, finally, let's even look at PR. We talked about the invasion of people who are otherwise not qualified. We talked about this encroachment of social media in otherwise very professional jobs. Even among our professionals, are we seeing young people coming into the profession or showing interest, or are they breaking themselves into influencers, blah blah blah, and some of these surrounding sub areas? Are we in the next 10 years going to get the sort of competent professionals that we had yesterday and we have today?
I think I would say a big yes. I'll say a big yes.
Okay.
Once upon a time, I know Emeka Okpara from afar. Understand? But today he's a global personality. I know Emeka Madubuna directly. I know Yomi Badejo from afar, and I know him closer now. So they are big personalities now in the field. And there are many people like that. So the young ones coming behind too, they are going to grow, they are going to blossom. And there is one Tolu lady that I admire from afar. You know, she does the experience PR. That's a great job. And there are many of them like that. You know, there are so many of them. I can't count them, but I think the future is bright. Yeah, there will be, it's a football team.
Yeah.
There will be star players, and there will be average players, and there will be that. Even
there will be those that will fall by the wayside. Completely.
But eventually, I'm sure that the industry is going to see a major rise. In fact, in another 2 years, it will be amazing the kind of things that will happen in the PR industry. I can guarantee you, things are happening.
Thank you very much. And on this note, we will bring this session to an end. Not that it terminates, but we know that from the quality of what you have, we are likely to invite you again, maybe before the end of the first season, at the end of the third season, because things are going to keep evolving and your brand exchange will grow and industry might also evolve. And we need great ideas, people like you, to help us in propagating something that will even help those future generations to continue not just growing but showing interest in this profession. And it is on this note that today's session with the great Akonte Ekine comes to an end. Like I told him just now, it's just the end of a show, not the end of his being a member of this faculty that will continue delivering values, like he also said, to the Nigerian, African, and global market space in the PR business. We are going to be back here during the next episode. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Ken.
Okay, thank you very much for coming on the show. Standard practice, silver and gold, we do not have. But for sharing your 1 hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours with us, this is just our token of appreciation as an ambassador, as a member of this faculty. Thank you very much once again.
I appreciate it. It's an opportunity to be with you, to be a guest, and to also learn from you.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Akonte Ekine, CEO AbsolutePR and founder Brand Exchange, the conveners of Consumers Value Awards. It's an opportunity to be a part of the C-Suite Cafe today, and I think what Nkems and his gang are doing, it's excellent, it's wonderful. And I want to encourage anybody watching today's episode to stay tuned for more episodes of the C-Suite Cafe. I think you will get to learn more about the Nigerian brand and the Nigerian economy on C-Suite Cafe. It's a platform for you to subscribe to. Cheers.